There are cheap tablets and there are really expensive tablets, but what about that nice middle ground? That's where these come in, the iPad Air and the Galaxy Tab S10 FE. Fireworks, fireworks, epic music, confetti, confetti. Derek, are you writing this down?
What?
I need you to add these special effects in post.
Okay, got it.
I would just feel better about all this if I saw you writing this down.
All right, let me find a pen.
Let me say up front that while I'm comparing these two tablets, which is the best, is in the eye of the beholder. The advice I give to most people is, what ecosystem are you already in? Do you have an iPhone? Maybe you want to go the iPad route. Do you have an Android phone? Maybe go the Galaxy Tab route. And that's because I like both of these. Really like both of these. But the crazy thing is there's other Android tablets in this price range that are still really good. If you want to do your own research into that, I have compiled all these over on my website where I rank everything that I review. So with that said, let's get on with the video. Derek, now! As a general rule of thumb, if you have to choose between an OLED screen and an LCD screen, go with the OLED. It's just a better technology, but it's easy to take this recommendation too far and think that if a screen isn't OLED, it's garbage. But that is so not the case. And these two tablets are great examples of that. These are both LCD panels, and they're both really high end and show how good an LCD display can look. The blacks on these get almost as black as the surrounding bezels, and they both get really bright. And with both of these, when I initially took them out of the box and first booted them up, my initial thoughts were, wow, this looks better than I expected. The color range here is just great. I need to stop using the word great over and over. Somebody, hand me a thesaurus. Derek! Samsung specifically, I think, has done a really good job in recent years of picking out wallpapers for their tablets that really give you a sense of how good these can look. Now, both of these tablets have an 11-inch version and a larger version, like a 13-inch version. Technically, the FE Plus is a bit smaller, coming in at like 12.4 inches, so not quite 13. But the other big difference between these tablets' screen is the refresh rate. The iPad is sitting at 60 hertz, while the Tab is sitting at 90 hertz. What is refresh rate, Brad? Well, I'm glad you asked. That's the speed at which your screen refreshes. The faster, the better. Basically, how smooth is the animation on the screen? Not that 60 hertz feels choppy, but when you get higher than that, it just feels smooth, more fluid. It's cool to have. And I am a fan of the 90 hertz screen that Samsung has here. I understand that they're not gonna go a whole 120 hertz because they're trying to keep the price down. But it's cool that you get more speed for those smoother animations. It's a good compromise that makes you feel like you're getting more than you paid for. Another difference here is the aspect ratio, with the iPad being a more squarish 4:3 ratio and the Galaxy Tab being more like a TV. It's like a 16:10 ratio. Derek, pop those resolutions up on the screen here. No one wants to listen to me reading numbers for the next 3 minutes. The important takeaway from all of these numbers is that these are high density displays. When you look at them, they're super clear, super crisp. You don't see any pixelation around text or anything. They look great. I used great again. Let me look in the thesaurus. Prominent, noble, celebrated, extraordinary. They look good. Am I going to declare a winner? I guess. It's really close, but I think because the Galaxy Tab has that 90 hertz refresh rate, I'm gonna give it the edge here. So, woo, good job, Galaxy. Derek, could you turn off the cartoon filter? Oh, that was weird. I'm gonna be serious, Brad, for a minute, because this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. I just recently learned that anxiety peaks in late springtime, which explains so much. Every year around this time, no matter what I'm creating, I just get to that point where I hate it all. I just want to throw it all away and start over. No idea why, but like clockwork, every spring around this time, it happens. Lately, I don't even want to be on camera anymore. That's probably why I've enlisted little cartoon Brad to help me out. I'm a totally adequate replacement. And you're doing a great job, buddy. Keep it up. Sometimes it's that I've set goals that are just too high for myself to obtain, and I'm frustrated when I don't get there. And other times, I'm trying to draw something, and that drawing's just not coming together the way I wanted it to. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. They can connect you with a therapist who can provide support. The majority of users who are using BetterHelp are seeking support for anxiety, and 69% of them report improved symptoms after 6 weeks of therapy on BetterHelp. It's easy to start. Just fill out a questionnaire and you will match with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. Easily switch therapists at any time for no cost if it's not a great fit. They carefully make sure therapists on the platform are well qualified, and their customer support team is there to help you if you have any questions. Let BetterHelp rule your anxiety so it doesn't rule you. Click on the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/BradColbo to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Let's talk about the internals. The iPad Air's M3 processor is an absolute beast. I'm still kind of in shock that you can get that in a non-Pro iPad. It is a crazy good processor. I mean, technically the iPad Pro now has the M4, but still, in terms of software or apps, there really isn't much running on the iPad that needs this much power. Even a 3D sculpting app like ZBrush, which is really pushing things, is more limited by how much RAM you have, not necessarily the processing power that's available. The Galaxy Tab FE's processor, it's fine. It's an Exynos 1580. It's a nice little mid-tier processor that makes sense at this price point. And that processor is gonna run any drawing app that you want to run just fine. Now, both of these start with 128 gigabytes of storage, and you can pay more to get more storage. The Galaxy Tab does have a micro SD card slot, so if you wanted to add more storage yourself without paying an arm and a leg, you can do that. The iPad doesn't offer that as an option, but both come with 8 gigabytes of RAM, though you can get 12 gigabytes on the Galaxy if you go for that 256 gigabyte storage model. Okay, so who wins? It really comes down to two things. I like the M3 on the iPad more, but the expandable storage on the S10 FE, that's nice. I'm gonna go with the M3 this time. Yeah, okay, let's do the pens. You're going a little hard on the music here, Derek. This is the Apple Pencil versus the Samsung S Pen. Both are really great, both are really accurate, very little lag on either, although it depends more on the apps you're using and drawing in than the hardware really. The pressure sensitivity is really good on both of these pens. I think the difference here is if you're thinking in terms of cost, the S Pen is definitely the way to go. It's literally included in the box. And if you need a new S Pen, they're fairly affordable. A lot of people make pens that are compatible with this tablet because under the hood, the S Pen is using Wacom's technology. The Apple Pencil is expensive. This uses the latest Apple Pencil Pro. Older Apple Pencils will not work, will not charge on this iPad. That Apple Pencil Pro starts at $130, though you can usually find it a little cheaper if you know where to look. And by know where to look, I'm talking about Amazon. You just gotta search on Amazon. While there are other styluses that will work on the iPad, they are seriously deficient compared to the Apple Pencil. So if your pencil breaks or gets lost, that's another $100 that you have to spend. So on the cost side of things, Samsung totally wins. But on the feel side, I like the Apple Pencil better. This is like personal opinion, man, but I think it's a better weighted style. It feels better in the hand compared to the much lighter S Pen. It has some extra features baked in, like the barrel roll, and the S Pen has a tiny rubbery tip. This does offer some resistance because you're drawing on a smooth screen. Whereas the Apple Pencil is plastic, but it does have a larger surface area that's touching the screen when it makes contact. And I kind of like that feel a little bit better, even though there is no resistance there. On the iPad, you can add a screen protector to help you out there, make it a little bit scratchy, but those rougher screen protectors will tear up that soft tip of your S Pen. This again is a hard category to declare a winner. If you go cost, Samsung. If you go feel, I like the Apple Pencil. So I'm going Apple here. But if the economy keeps tanking, I may change my mind. This is the category that gets me in trouble in the comments. Come on, guys, cut me some slack. Two things can be true at the same time. The Android drawing app ecosystem can be rapidly improving while also not being as robust as Apple's. Just a few years ago, there was no contest. The iPad smashed Android. But now, on Android, you have Krita and Clip Studio Paint and a bunch more. Even a reasonable clone of Procreate called HiPaint. The iPad, well, it has Procreate and a whole bunch of other apps that are also available on Android, but it also has the Affinity suite, like Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, Affinity Publisher. Those are like real pro level apps. There's also a handful of solid animation apps, Procreate Dreams, ToonSquid. But Android is catching up a little bit because they're going to be getting Calipeg, another really good animation app that started its life on the iPad. I think this is probably the category that's going to sway some people. Even if you have an Android phone and you're thinking, gosh, I kind of want some of those iPad apps. I would love to see the Affinity stuff come to Android. I think that would be amazing. I don't know if Adobe's ever going to bring over their stripped down apps like Photoshop and Illustrator, or even Fresco. Man, Fresco on Android would rock. So for now, I think the iPad's the way. So I hope this helps you out. Like I said at the top, both of these are really good. If you want to check out other videos with little cartoon talking Brad, I'll link some right here up on the screen. Also check out my website to learn more about my Learn to Draw in 60 Days course. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back in a few days.